Hey, welcome to Life in the Leadership Lane. I'm your host, Bruce Waller, where I get to talk to leaders that are making a difference in the workplace and in our community. What did they do to get started? And what are they doing to stay there? And oh my goodness, here we are. We're in the summer of 2025. This is our special HR Southwest Conference speaker series. And today I'm going to bring to you another special guest. His name is Jeff Lupinacci. He's the founder and CEO of Evolve HR Solutions. He's also a keynote speaker. He's an author of a best-selling book, The Talent Advantage. I want to make sure we talk about that. And then I've also learned he's a podcast host of The Leadership Puzzle. Jeff, how you doing? Good to have you on the show, man.
Oh, hey, Bruce, thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so I always like to reflect. We met many years ago in the business community here in Dallas, Texas, but we reconnected. I remember seeing you last year at the HR Southwest
HR
Conference in the
Southwest.
Expo
Yep.
Hall. You remember that?
I do. I do. Yeah, it was, I was reflecting on that. I think it's been at least 10 years that we've known each other.
Yeah.
And when I was still in the corporate world. And so it was great to see a familiar face in the sea of amazing HR talent last year at HR Southwest.
And then I got to see you at one of our NTRP conference events, and you gave me this book, The Talent Advantage. I definitely want to jump into that. But before we do, I want to just real briefly touch on uh, Evolve HR. I would love for you to just share just a brief highlight of your organization and how do you serve your customers?
Yeah, sure. After 30 years in the corporate HR world, I decided that I would start the entrepreneurial journey and started Evolve HR Solutions. We focus on two main areas. The first is executive search. Of course, HR is a pinnacle, my first love. But I have a team that can do operations, supply chain, as well as kind of commercial roles. And then I love keeping my fingers in the HR puzzle. So I'll do a lot of talent consulting and fractional HR work with small to medium-sized companies.
That's fantastic. I appreciate you sharing that. And before we get into the HR Southwest Conference and all things conference, I want to hear your story. I mean, we've known each other, but there's probably some things I don't know about Jeff Lupinacci. Share your story. Like, how did you get started? Where'd you grow up, and how'd you get started, and what's led you to where you are today?
Yeah, it's an interesting journey because I had no vision that I would be where I'm at today. I moved around all my whole life, and so I don't know that I have a formal home, but I went to Baylor, went up to grad school up in Willamette University in Salem, Oregon, and met my wife, 33 years now,
Hmm.
and I thought I was going into manufacturing, so I got into um, uh, warehouse management and manufacturing management, moved back to Portland and got on with Intel in accounts payable. So I spent about 8, 9 years in finance and accounts payable, corporate finance, and then they said, "Hey, we want you to go take AP into a new level." So I went and jumped into IT, and at the time, e-commerce was becoming really, really big, and there's a lot of similarities between that late 90s and e-commerce, which was really starting to automate a lot of the process change within companies to where we see AI doing now. But so I did that and automated accounts payable, e-invoice around the world. And then I got into HR when that project was done. The HR operations organization needed someone to come in and manage their HR projects. And so I stumbled into HR and, been there 25 years and I haven't left. I found my calling.
Little did you know you were preparing for what you're doing today. It's amazing
Exactly.
how that
Exactly.
works. And you talked about relocation. You're talking about my language here. I loved how you shared you've been married for 33 years. My wife and I celebrated 40 years this weekend.
Oh,
How about that?
congratulations.
Where
That's
does the time
amazing.
go?
I know.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. I love that. Well, we're going to talk about the HR Southwest Conference. And for those of you listening, get out your pens, get out your journal. You want to take some notes here. HR Southwest Conference, actually, the website is hrsouthwest.com. It's coming October the 12th through the 14th at the Fort Worth Convention Center. Got some great keynotes, but we've got Jeff Lupinacci speaking, and he's going to be talking about talent strategies in the future of work. Let's talk about that for a second, Jeff. Talk about like what is talent strategies in the future of work?
Talent has the way that we've managed talent over the last, and we could go 50 years, but let's just say the last 25 years has changed fairly dramatically. And HR has built some great tools, whether it's some performance management tools or uh, uh, per, um, talent assessments.
Mm-hmm.
Succession plans have really grown up. Some of the strategic HR, workforce planning and whatnot has really grown up over the last 25 years. And as far as HR as a kind of a function has come, AI is turning all of it on its head. And so I'm going to be talking about how we can take all the good things that HR has built and what do we need to do to just evolve it to really capitalize on the capabilities that AI and some of the agentic AI and bots and other forms of digital collaboration that is going on. And so, yeah, I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the third workforce.
I love that. And that's a lot there. I mean, when you say I mean, just alone. But you mentioned a word here. I had the word change, and you had the word growth. I love that because that's what we have been in this changing workplace for many years. But really, it's more of a growth workplace, isn't it? I mean, we got to continue to learn and expand, don't we?
The biggest thing that I see with HR right now is there's a lot of concern, mostly that comes from replacement anxiety, right? I mean, initially, gosh, for all of last year, AI is going to take HR's jobs. AI, you don't need HR if you have AI. And the reality is, all we have to do is shift our thinking a little bit, our mindset a little bit, and if we can reshape the way that we think, uh,
Mm,
and give AI our repetitive tasks, our note taking, everything that we don't really need to be doing,
mm.
freeing us up to be more value added to the business, work on the strategic work. I talk with HR leaders all the time, and they never have enough resources.
Mm,
And and if we think, oh, what if we leveraged the AI capabilities to do those repetitive,
mm.
tactical tasks, and use that headcount to go to do more value added tasks. And that's what I'm really been pushing is thinking of AI as a coworker, not as a threat.
I love that. You actually wrote something on, it may have been an article. I glanced at it before I came on, and it said it's easy to get stuck in the day to day,
Yeah.
but it's about really elevating your brand and attracting talent. I love that. And the reason why I love that is I heard a quote by Jim Rohn one time. He said, "You can't chase success, but you attract it."
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about. Talk a little bit about that. I mean, and the reason why I want you to talk about that, there's listeners right now. They're like, man, I'm stuck in the day to day. Like,
Yeah.
how do you get out of that? And I don't want you to give all your presentation away here, but I want to just share maybe, I don't know, maybe a tip for some of the listeners that are experiencing that.
There's a couple of things that I would say, hey, just start small, right? So
Mhm.
if your organization has not jumped into having a mindset of, hey, we're gonna leverage AI as a formal thing, well, you know what? Look at what AI, ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude. What can it do to help simplify your daily work? Do you have to, you struggling writing an email? Well, let ChatGPT write the first draft for you.
Mm.
Um, are you struggling reformatting something? Well, let ChatGPT do it. Do you need to analyze a spreadsheet and you just don't know where to begin? Well, let ChatGPT do it. Right? All of a sudden, you just start freeing up time,
Mm.
and then you can start using that time to do some of the more strategic things that the business needs, and people talent. That's the difference maker on for organizations. And we just get so bogged down into that day to day that curiosity will allow you to move beyond that tactical day to day and get into strategic discussions.
I love that. Hey, let me ask you, when you apply to speak at a conference, a particular HR Southwest conference, you're typically checking a box. Is this for early career? Is this for middle career? Is this for executive level? Who's your audience? Who needs to come to this session? And does it only need to be HR leaders? What if maybe there's some business leaders in some different areas? Who needs to attend your session?
I think it will be for everybody. Now, it is decidedly focused on HR professionals,
Yeah.
but whether you're early career or head of HR, there's going to be something there for you. Business leaders will also get something out of it as long as they're thinking about talent and what do they need to do differently with talent. Because I do talk a lot about rethinking, how to use AI, and
Hmm.
and I mean, I know there's going to be tons of other AI sessions, so it's not just about AI, but that whole AI agents, bots, Microsoft coined the term AI boss, where you're
Mm.
basically managing
Hey,
AI agents as a new kind of function within the management team. So if you're young career, well, gosh, that's a great place to start your development plans right now. Is what does that look like? What does that governance of a AI bot or a agent look like? And how can you master that quickly?
yeah, this is so good. I love that, the term AI boss. I had not heard that yet. That's fantastic. Hey, well, let me ask you this. I was at a conference a few years ago and I heard someone say AI is going to help you with a lot of things, but AI doesn't inspire. How important is the strategy? You're talking about talent strategy here. How important is networking? And I gave you a few questions ahead of time, but that's one question I just thought about. It's like
Yeah.
you got to still get out there and you got to network, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, network is critical. There's a study done, and the name of the researchers escapes me, but they looked at the relational analytics of a individual within an organization, and the connections that they have, not just within the company but outside the company, and they found a bridge, a link between top talent on how well that individual is connected, is networked, has the relationships to how successful they're going to be, and the results that they get. And so that whole idea that the relationships are critical for employees to grow and develop and to know who to tap on when they're
Mm.
they're facing a problem. And that's the thing that I worry about the most with people going, oh, I can work from home. I can work from home. I don't need to go into an office. Well, how are you going to really build those strong networks and connections that will
Mm.
help you really accelerate your career over a lifetime when you're not sitting down and having a cup of coffee with someone, when you're not having lunch with them, when you're not sitting in
Mm.
a room and hashing out a problem. And while this is great, we can talk. But Bruce, you and I met face to face years ago,
Mm.
and that makes a big difference. And so the
Yeah.
networking is huge.
Yeah, that's so good. I appreciate you sharing that. Hey, let me ask you this. I was just sitting here thinking, what do you enjoy about speaking? For those who are going to be attending your session, I want them to get to know a little bit more about the speaker. What really moves you?
I spend a lot of time now that I'm not in a corporate world. I spend a lot of time really trying to understand trends and what we can do. And gosh, I wish I had the time when I was actually in the corporate world because I might have been able to do some things better. But I love being able to share that.
Yeah.
And and there is something about being in front of a group of people that just brings me energy. um, and so that's just great. And if just one person walks away going, oh,
Mm.
I learned something new and I'm going to go and do something different because of it, it's all worth it.
That's awesome. I love it. Hey, I'm sure you'll have this book at the bookstore. I'm going to hold it up for those of you listening. You can also check out the YouTube video, but it's called The Talent Advantage. And it's the story of a CEO's journey to discover the value of talent. Talk a little bit about your book and what's it about? I've started it and it's, I mean, I can't wait to like really dive into this. Talk a little bit about the book. What drove you to write the book, and what will people get out of the book?
Yeah. I've been wanting to write a business book for a number of years, and talent has been a passion of mine for a while now. But, talking about talent reviews and leadership assessments and succession planning and talent teams and cohorts and all that stuff, it's just boring, right? I mean,
Yeah.
who wants to read another book on 9box, right? And so I needed to have a story that would be engaging and be interesting, and you would learn something along the way. And Patrick Lencioni does a fantastic job with his
Mm,
stories. And so I did the same thing. I created a
mm.
CEO and a CFO and a talent consultant that comes in and helps the CEO think about people differently. And the company was in dire straits, and they started looking at people, and kind of went through all those things that HR knows how to do, but it just lays it out in a sequential path that they can go, okay, I can do that. It's not so hard. And so it was a lot of fun to write the story, layer in some uh, personal things, as he's using some of the talent tools on his son's baseball team, and so it's just like what we do in HR is
Mm.
far-reaching. And I actually had a conversation with a CEO recently who had read it, and he showed me the dog ears and the
Oh,
highlights, and he shared it with his executive team, and he's like, I've never heard anything like this, and they've already started going down the path of I call it a talent track. It's kind of a fun little pithy way to just say, hey, it's like a talent journey. And so he's like, we've already started going down our talent track, and so that just brought me a lot of joy to hear that it was making a difference.
hey, let me ask you this, if you want to pick up a copy of the book, it's going to be available at the HR Southwest Conference, but you can also get it on Amazon.
Amazon, yep.
Yeah, go ahead and jump out there. It's a best-selling, top 10 Amazon bestseller, and I think you're going to really enjoy this.
I'll plug. I'm in process of writing my next
Oh,
next book,
tell me
Talent
about that.
Advantage 2. And the thing that always irritated me about Lencioni was that he created brand new characters for every book. You get
Mhm.
invested in these characters. You're like, okay, I want to see them again, right? And so I'm gonna use the same characters, but I'm gonna bring in the idea of the third workforce and AI and how that can be transformative to a business if it is done right in conjunction with human resources. And so I've started writing that, and I'm hoping that my goal is to have it ready and available at HR Southwest. But we'll see. It always takes longer to do than you think.
I love it. Well, I'm excited. This is going to be a great session. So if you're not signed up for the conference yet, be sure and get signed up. You can sign up at hrsouthwest.com and definitely put on your session must attend talent strategies in the future of work. Jeff Lupinacci is going to be speaking. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. And I cannot wait to hear you speak. And what are you looking forward to about the conference? I'm curious, like you've been before. Like, what gets you excited? Not only speaking and having all these incredible people attending your session, but what else are you looking forward to?
Oh, I love just meeting new people. I love the networking. I think this year I'm gonna if there's pub crawls, and I think I'm actually I'm in the DFW area too,
Mm,
but I think I'm actually gonna get a room down there so that
mhm,
that I can enjoy the after hours at the hotel bar, and just you don't get enough of that. We don't get enough that interpersonal, and so and I always love walking around the marketplace.
mm,
Just seeing what's out there, who's out there, and so just it's if nothing else, it gives you enough of that energy, supercharge your mind
mm,
for another year. And so
mm.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm with you on that. One year I drove back and forth to the conference. And after that, I was like, man, I'm just going to stay at the hotel because it's interesting when you travel out of state to a conference, you're always all in because you're at the hotel. But
Right.
when your conference is in your city and you drive back and forth, you're not really all in, are you?
No.
You really got to be there. And so I'm glad to hear you say that. And so I'll be there as well. And so can't wait. HR Southwest Conference, the conference director, Rhonda Clemente, and of course, Paige Luckemeyer, and the entire team does an incredible job. It is the official conference for Texas SHRM, the state conference. And so it's going to be wonderful. Again, hrsouthwest.com. Go get registered. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hey, I want to ask you some kind of some fun facts just
Yeah.
for uh, as we kind of conclude here. I don't know. You've traveled a lot. Like, do you have a favorite city? Like, I have this bucket list of hitting all 50 states. I mean, it's like a lot of people are like, man, I'm going for countries, but I'm trying to get the states here. Do you have a favorite city?
Well, I've lived in Malaysia, Japan, Russia. I've been
Mm.
to 70 countries. Uh, I think my favorite city, probably Dublin, would be on the top of the
Oh.
list. Auckland is pretty fun too.
Oh man, it sounds amazing. Hey, fun question. What's something you've always wanted to learn?
I think my wife would say how to sing, but I've always wanted to be musical, play piano, read
Yeah,
music, and I can do some basic chords,
yeah.
jingle bells on the guitar, but so that'd be something I'd like to learn.
That's funny. My wife got me some piano lessons years ago, and I took piano lessons for a couple of years. And today, all I can really play is Jingle Bells and Happy Birthday, a couple of songs. Like, because you have to all like it's continuous. It's never stop. You have never ending pursuit. You have to
Yeah,
continue to play. Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
And kind of the same thing we're talking about here, even with in the workplace to be expert level, you have to do these things. What you're going to be talking about in your session, you're going to be doing them every
yeah.
day, right?
Every day. Well, there's this thing of 10,000 hours to master
Mm,
and to mastery, and I think a lot of the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, they don't have the concept of you got to put in your time to really
mm.
master it because everything's at their fingertips. Like, oh, I remember one time I asked my son, I had to change a tire, and I said, "Hey, you want to come help me change the tire so you can learn?" He's like, "No, I'm good." I said, "Well, what happens if you blow a tire on the side of a road?" He's like, "Well, I'll just YouTube it."
I love that.
So,
That is funny. You know, the my wife got a new car, and I was trying to figure out how to open her gas
oh,
thing to put in the gas. So I like got onto YouTube. I know it's Hey, I want to ask you. I do have a couple of final questions, but
yeah.
uh, something you said earlier that really got my attention, and I just want to hit on it real quick, and that's mindset. You talked about the importance of shifting your mindset. For those who are listening, how do you shift your mindset? Because we're in in many of our industries, we're in a tough time right now where we may not be hiring, we may be, right sizing, if you
Yep.
will.
Yep.
And it's very challenging for a lot of business leaders, HR leaders, people leaders. I don't know. Give me something, give the audience something around a tip on shifting your mindset.
That's probably a whole podcast, Bruce.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the first step is deciding that you're gonna try it.
Mm,
Um, let me give you an example. So my wife has been resistant on even just trying ChatGPT, and I've been using it since it was in beta. I was like, I want to know what this is about, and I fell in love with it very quickly. And she resisted, she resisted, and and she listened to someone say, "Hey, just try it." And so she consciously said, "Okay, I'm going to try this." And so she asked me a couple questions. I helped her get set up on it, and I said, you know, ask it to do this form that you're wanting to do. Don't spend 3 hours doing that. Just put the data in, ask it to do a form. She did that, boom, and it was 99% perfect. She's like, oh my gosh, look what I've been missing. And so I think that's the first thing is if you want to change your mindset, that decision point that says,
mm,
okay, I'm gonna make a purposeful effort, whether it's I'm gonna start working out and losing weight, I'm
mm.
gonna try AI, I'm gonna I'm gonna start learning a new skill. It's that decision point says, I'm gonna do it and I'm just gonna try and take one step at a time because otherwise it can get overwhelming.
Yeah, so good. So good. I love that. Hey, a couple of final questions here. What's something people may not know about you, Jeff?
Well, I probably telegraphed a little bit, but in my 33 years of marriage with my wife, we've moved 24 times.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
all over the world, which has just been amazing.
That's amazing. I've been to two, let's see, I was in Nova Scotia recently, so I've been to
Oh,
Canada
fun.
and Mexico. That's it for
Nice.
me, man.
Nice.
But I would love to do a little more traveling as well. Okay, so here's my final question. Jeff Lupinacci, he is 10 years older,
Yep.
and he's around the corner. He's knocking at your door, and you're going to answer that door. What's he going to tell you?
Well, he would probably be sending a WhatsApp video from a Caribbean beach somewhere. And he's going to tell me to just keep going. The
Hmm.
journey is worth it. It's hard. There are days where you're discouraged and you want to
Hmm.
give up, but don't because the end point and the journey is just is awesome. And you know what? Those on the HR journey, it's worth it. It's
Yeah.
hard. It's you don't get the credit that HR is due, but boy, the people that you're helping, uh, it just makes a difference. And so yeah, that's what he'd tell me.
I love it. That's a wise 10 years older Jeff Lupinacci. Hey, be sure and sign up, get registered for the HR Southwest Conference. It's coming to Fort Worth October the 12th through the 14th. at the Fort Worth Convention Center. And Jeff's going to be talking about talent strategies in the future of work. If you want to pick up a copy of his book, it'll be available at the bookstore, The Talent Advantage. You're going to love it. Jeff, this has been such a pleasure. Hey, for those who are listening to this and say, hey, I want to start following Jeff before the conference. I want to get to know him a little bit more. How's the best way for people to connect?
Well, we have a newsletter that you can sign up on our website, evolvehrs.com, certainly LinkedIn, or, if you want to reach out to me directly, it's jeff@evolvehrs.com.
Fantastic. And I'll put your links in the show notes and all the information we talked about. Man, I cannot wait to see you in Fort Worth in October. Jeff, thanks again for being on the show, and appreciate your friendship.
Hey, thanks, Bruce. Really appreciate you having me on.
You got it. Hey, I'll talk to you later, man.